Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day you stop living small. Today is the day you break free from the chains of fear, doubt, and hesitation. Because confidence, true, unstoppable confidence, isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. It's something you condition every single day, just like a muscle. Confidence is not something that you magically think into existence. It is not something you simply wish for and expect to appear. It's built, carved, and created through action, repeated, relentless action. Most people sit around waiting for confidence to strike them like lightning. They think, once I feel confident, then I'll start the business, then I'll approach the person, then I'll take the risk. But it doesn't work that way. Confidence is not the cause of action, it's the result of action. You earn it through doing the hard things. You earn it by stepping into the unknown even when you're terrified. Every time you act when it would have been easier to hesitate, you're building a deeper trust in yourself. The mistake most people make is thinking they need to feel right before they move. They think they have to wait until they're fully prepared, until the fear is gone, until the conditions are perfect. But action does not follow confidence. It creates it. The first time you take a risk, it's scary. Your voice shakes, your knees tremble, your mind runs wild with all the ways you might fail, but you do it anyway, and something shifts. You realize you survived. Maybe you didn't get it perfect. Maybe it was messy, but you did it. And that moment plants a seed inside you, a seed of belief that says, I can handle more than I thought. Confidence grows through that repetition. Every conversation you initiate, every opportunity you chase, every time you speak up when your instincts tell you to shrink, you reinforce a new identity, the identity of someone who acts. The more you act, the more your brain rewires itself to associate challenge with strength instead of fear. You stop being someone who hesitates. You stop being someone who needs permission. You start being someone who moves first, who adapts, who figures it out on the fly. You start becoming the kind of person other people look at and say, how are they so confident? You don't need to know the whole plan. You don't need to have every answer lined up. What you need is momentum. Small, immediate actions that build upon each other until the confidence you once envied in others is now the standard you set for yourself. Action compounds. The tiny step you take today looks insignificant on its own, but stack it on top of another step tomorrow, and another step the day after, and suddenly you are a force. Your energy shifts. Your posture shifts. Your voice carries differently because it's carrying the weight of real experience, not imagination. Every major breakthrough starts with an uncomfortable action. Every transformation begins when someone decides that hesitation will no longer dictate their life. Think about it, the leaders you admire, the athletes you revere, the entrepreneurs who change industries. They didn't wait to be ready. They moved first. They stumbled. They adjusted. They learned faster because they acted faster. Action builds the muscle of confidence just like lifting builds the muscle of strength. You don't read your way to a strong body, and you don't think your way to an unstoppable confidence. You lift. You push. You show up, again and again and again. The only thing standing between you and the level of confidence you dream of is consistent, courageous action. Not once, not when it's easy, every single day. When you act without waiting for the perfect mood, you teach yourself that you are the kind of person who can trust their own power. You don't need to fake it. You don't need to hype yourself up with empty affirmations. You just need to step forward when your mind tells you to pull back. That's how you build confidence that no one can take away before the world can place its labels on you. Before circumstances can define what you think you deserve, you must make a decision about who you are. Identity is not something you find, it's something you forge. It's a conscious, deliberate creation. If you don't decide who you are, someone else will do it for you. They'll tell you who you're supposed to be based on their fears, their limitations, their small view of what's possible. The world is filled with opinions, judgments, expectations, but none of that matters if you have already decided internally who you are and what you stand for. Confidence begins the moment you stop looking outward for validation and start defining yourself from within. You are the only one who can determine your value. You are the only one who knows the fire inside you, the dreams, the resilience, the hunger. When you decide who you are, you become unshakable. You stop negotiating your worth based on external results. You stop adjusting your identity based on how people react to you. Whether they applaud or criticize, it doesn't matter, because your foundation isn't built on them. It's built on something deeper, something immovable. Most people are trapped because they never made a firm decision about themselves. They think they're confident when things are going well, but when they fail, they collapse. They think they're powerful when people like them, but when rejection hits, they crumble. True power comes when your confidence is based not on outcomes, but on a decision about who you are no matter what. When you say, "I am relentless," it doesn't matter if you succeed immediately. You keep going because relentless is who you are. When you decide, "I am a leader," it doesn't matter if the crowd is small at first. You lead because that's your identity, not because of applause. This decision is not a one-time event. It's something you recommit to daily. Life will test you. Challenges will try to shake you. People will question you. Your own mind will whisper doubts. Every single day you have to choose again. Who am I? What do I believe about myself? Am I going to allow today's circumstances to rewrite my story, or am I going to live from the decision I already made? It's a constant act of defiance against mediocrity. It's a daily act of courage against fear. You have to decide you are bigger than any setback. You have to decide that no matter how many times you fall, you rise. You have to decide that your vision, your dream, your standard will not shrink to fit the world will rise to meet your standard. And when you make that decision with full emotional certainty, you start carrying yourself differently. You speak differently. You move differently. People feel it. They may not even know why they are drawn to you, but they can sense it, that unbreakable certainty of someone who knows exactly who they are. This decision isn't about arrogance. It's not about pretending you're perfect. It's about clarity. It's about standing rooted in your own truth so deeply that no storm can uproot you. When you decide who you are, you stop playing defense and you start playing offense. You don't just respond to life, you create it. You don't just wait for confidence, you command it. Every action, every word, every choice stems from a place of ownership rather than approval seeking. When you decide who you are, the game changes forever. Your mind is your most powerful weapon, and if you don't take control of it, the world will. Confidence isn't something that just shows up one morning when you wake up. It's something you deliberately condition every single day, like an athlete trains their body. If you don't discipline your mind, it will be disciplined by fear, by doubt, by the stories you've heard growing up, by the failures you've experienced in the past. If you want unstoppable confidence, you must feed your mind empowering beliefs consistently, not once, not sometimes, but as a daily ritual. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself. Every morning you have a choice. Do you ask disempowering questions like, "What if I fail?" Or "Why am I not good enough?" Or do you ask empowering ones like, "What's great about this situation? How can I become stronger from this? What am I proud of about myself today?" The questions you ask will direct your focus. Your focus will direct your feelings. Your feelings will direct your actions, and your actions will create your destiny. If you wake up and let your mind run wild, focusing on problems, focusing on what's missing, focusing on worst-case scenarios, what kind of life do you think you're building? If you want unstoppable confidence, you have to break that pattern. You have to consciously flood your mind with empowering thoughts, empowering images, empowering standards. You have to overwhelm the negative with such a massive surge of strength that fear has no room to breathe. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about training yourself to see opportunities even in the middle of chaos. It's about conditioning your nervous system to respond with courage instead of hesitation. It's about rewiring your entire system for power, not pity. Most people have trained themselves into insecurity. They've repeated thoughts of "I'm not enough," "I'm not ready," "I'm not worthy," so many times that it feels real to them. But it's not truth, it's just conditioning. And anything that's conditioned can be reconditioned with enough intensity, enough repetition, enough emotional leverage. You must take charge of your inner world with the same intensity that a warrior defends their homeland. You have to be vigilant. Every negative thought that tries to sneak in, you catch it. You replace it. You shift it immediately. You don't entertain it. You don't negotiate with it. You don't rationalize why it's okay to dwell there. You replace it with a belief that serves you, that fuels you, that drives you forward. And you do it over and over again until it becomes automatic. Confidence grows when your mind becomes a place of certainty rather than a battlefield of second guessing. It grows when you focus more on your strengths than your weaknesses. It grows when you focus more on your possibilities than your limitations. It grows when you feed your mind with visions of the future you want, rather than memories of the failures you fear. Every day is a battle for your focus. Every day is a battle for your beliefs. The good news is you have the weapons. You have the ability to choose what you focus on. You have the ability to choose what you believe about yourself. Conditioning your mind isn't something you do once and forget about. It's an ongoing process. Just like you don't go to the gym once and stay fit for life, you don't speak empowering words to yourself once and expect unshakable confidence forever. You practice it, you live it, you embody it until it becomes who you are at your core. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is not something you have to eliminate before you can move forward. Fear is a signal. It's energy. It's a message that growth is nearby. When fear shows up, it's not telling you to freeze or run away. It's telling you that you're on the edge of expansion. You must train yourself to use fear as a trigger to move, not a reason to stay stuck. The people who live with unstoppable confidence are not the ones without fear. They are the ones who have learned to dance with it, to lean into it, to take action while fear is still whispering in their ear. Every time you feel fear and move anyway, you rewire your nervous system. You start associating fear not with paralysis, but with progress. You start recognizing that the sensation you once labeled as danger is really just the feeling of stepping into your next level. Fear only has the power you give it. If you believe fear means stop, you stop. If you believe fear means go, you go. It's not the fear itself. It's the meaning you assign to it. The problem most people have is not that they feel fear. It's that they interpret fear as a command instead of a cue. They think, I'm scared, so I must not be ready. I'm scared, so this must be wrong. But fear often shows up most intensely right before a breakthrough. Fear grows strongest right before you shatter an old identity, right before you break through the limits you've unknowingly accepted for years. Fear is a threshold guardian. It's standing at the door of the life you want, and it's testing you to see if you're serious enough to claim it. You cannot think your way through fear. You cannot analyze it to death. The only way to change your relationship with fear is through action. The moment you move toward the thing you fear, you strip fear of its illusionary power. You realize that most of what you were afraid of was a story, a fabrication, a mental movie you played over and over again until it felt real. Action pierces the veil of fear. Action reveals the truth. And the truth is, you are stronger, more resilient, more capable than you've allowed yourself to believe. When you start using fear as a trigger to move, you stop waiting for the feeling of safety. You stop waiting for the fear to disappear before you chase your dreams. You recognize that fear is part of the process. It's not a sign to slow down. It's a sign to speed up. It's a green light in disguise. Every bold move you've ever dreamed of making lives on the other side of fear. Every goal that has your name on it requires you to pass through the fire, but the fire doesn't burn you. It forges you. It strengthens you. It tempers your spirit. Start making it your habit that when fear shows up, you act. You make the call. You raise your hand. You say yes to the opportunity. You start the conversation. You make the investment. You take the first step. Even a tiny action, taken while fear is present, changes everything. It shifts your identity. It tells your brain a new story. I am the kind of person who acts even when I'm afraid. The more you do this, the more you condition your body, your mind, and your heart to rise instead of retreat. Fear will never leave your life completely, and you wouldn't want it to. It's a compass pointing toward the places where your greatest growth lies. It's a signal that something meaningful is at stake. It's a reminder that you are alive, that you are playing the game at a level that matters. Confidence isn't built in a day. It's built through a series of small wins, stacked one on top of the other, until you create unstoppable momentum. Most people look at confidence as some huge mountain they have to climb all at once. They think they need a major victory to feel powerful, but that's not how real confidence works. Real, lasting confidence is the result of recognizing and stacking the small wins every single day. It's about accumulating undeniable proof that you can handle whatever life throws at you. Every time you set a goal and meet it, no matter how small, you send a message to yourself that says, I can trust myself. Every time you do what you said you were going to do, even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable, you strengthen the foundation of your confidence. Most people wait for the big opportunity, the massive breakthrough, the life-changing moment. But those moments are rare, and they don't just appear on their own. They are created through the consistency of small daily victories. Small wins are powerful because they are achievable. They build momentum. They create a sense of progress, and progress is one of the deepest human needs. When you feel like you're moving forward, no matter how slowly, you feel alive. You feel empowered. You feel unstoppable. But when you feel stuck, when you feel like nothing is happening, that's when doubt creeps in. That's when fear gets louder. That's when you start questioning yourself. Small wins are the antidote to that spiral. They keep you moving, and movement is life. You don't need to make $1 million today. Maybe today you just make one powerful phone call. Maybe today you just push yourself to finish a workout you didn't want to start. Maybe today you have a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Those things might seem small in isolation, but stacked day after day, they transform you. They forge a mindset that says, I show up, I follow through, I win no matter what. Stacking small wins also builds a critical emotional muscle, certainty. Certainty in yourself, certainty in your ability to figure things out, certainty that even when things get tough, you have what it takes to navigate the storm. Certainty isn't about arrogance. It's about the deep, unshakable knowledge that you have earned the right to believe in yourself because you've proven it through your actions. Too many people live in a fantasy world, waiting for confidence to magically appear, when all the while, they could be creating it through simple daily disciplines. They could be building a mountain of victories, one brick at a time, instead of standing around hoping for someone to hand it to them. The truth is, no one is coming to give you confidence. It's something you have to generate from within, and you do it by accumulating proof that you are capable. It doesn't matter how small the step is, as long as it's forward. Winning is a habit. Excellence is a habit. And once you build that habit, it becomes who you are. You start to expect success from yourself. You start to carry yourself differently. You speak with more conviction. You walk into rooms with more presence. You pursue goals with more fire. And it all starts with choosing to win in the moments where most people would choose to quit. Focus on the small victories, celebrate them, acknowledge them, stack them, because each one is a building block in the architecture of your unstoppable confidence. Each small win is a piece of evidence that reinforces your belief that you are powerful, capable, and destined for greatness, one of the biggest traps people fall into is chasing perfection. They believe they have to get everything exactly right before they can move forward. They believe they have to be flawless before they can feel confident. But confidence doesn't come from perfection. It comes from progress. Perfection is a myth. It's a moving target that keeps you stuck, frustrated, and ultimately paralyzed. Progress, on the other hand, is real, it's measurable, it's within your control every single day. When you aim for progress instead of perfection, you shift your focus from what's missing to what's growing. You stop obsessing over the little flaws and start recognizing the momentum you're building. Perfection demands that you succeed in every attempt. Progress recognizes that every attempt, win or lose, is a step forward. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes fuel. Every experience becomes part of the process that makes you stronger, wiser, and more capable. Confidence comes from knowing you are moving forward, even when the path isn't smooth. It comes from trusting that every imperfect step you take is sculpting a better version of you. If you wait until you're perfect to act, you'll never act. If you wait until you know everything, until you have every answer, until there's no risk of failure, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. Progress requires that you act with the information you have, with the skills you have, with the courage you have, and refine yourself along the way. The obsession with perfection kills dreams before they ever have a chance to breathe. It suffocates action. It paralyzes creativity. It convinces you that you're not enough yet, that you're not worthy yet, that you're not ready yet. But you are ready to begin. You are ready to grow. You are ready to move forward imperfectly and build unstoppable confidence through the experience of doing, learning, and adjusting. Confidence is earned in the trenches, not imagined in the fantasy of a perfect plan. Progress forces you to confront your fears. It forces you to move even when you're unsure. It forces you to take the shot even when you're not guaranteed the win. And that willingness to step up, to take imperfect action, to show up fully even when it's messy, builds a level of internal strength that perfection could never offer. It's easy to look confident when everything goes according to plan. Real confidence is built when you keep going even when it doesn't. When you make progress your focus, you fall in love with the journey, not just the outcome. You start valuing the skills you're developing, the resilience you're building, the character you're forging. You measure yourself by how much you've grown, not by how close you are to some unattainable ideal. And as you grow, you realize that the gap between where you are and where you want to be gets smaller every time you move, every time you try, every time you refuse to quit. Perfection screams that you're not enough. Progress reminds you that you're getting better every single day. Perfection demands you prove yourself to the world. Progress allows you to prove yourself to yourself. And that's where real power comes from. When you know deep down that you're improving, that you're advancing, that you're closer today than you were yesterday, you start trusting yourself more. You start backing yourself more. You stop needing approval because you already have the evidence of your own evolution. Environment is everything. You can have the strongest intentions, the biggest dreams, the boldest plans, but if you keep planting yourself in toxic soil, you're going to struggle to grow. Who you surround yourself with matters. What you expose your mind to matters. If you are serious about building unstoppable confidence, you have to protect your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. Your beliefs, your standards, your energy are constantly being influenced by the people you spend time with, the conversations you engage in, the information you consume. If you hang around people who settle, people who complain, people who constantly see the downside of every situation, you're going to get pulled down without even realizing it. Their energy will infect you. Their doubts will become your doubts. Their fears will become your fears. Confidence is not just an inside job. It's also reinforced or eroded by the external world you choose to engage with every day. You can't expect to feel powerful if you're constantly drinking poison from your surroundings. You have to consciously curate an environment that feeds your greatness. You need to be around people who challenge you to rise, not shrink. People who speak to your potential, not your limitations. People who remind you who you are when you forget. You need to fill your mind with voices that ignite your fire, with messages that sharpen your focus, with standards that demand the best from you. Success leaves clues, and confidence leaves clues, and one of the biggest clues is the company you keep. Sometimes that means making hard choices. Sometimes that means letting go of relationships that no longer serve your highest good. Sometimes that means saying no to conversations that drag you down into gossip, negativity, or small thinking. Sometimes that means stepping into new rooms where you feel uncomfortable at first, where you are the smallest fish in the pond, because that environment will force you to grow into the next version of yourself. Comfort zones kill confidence. Growth zones build it. Your physical environment matters too. The spaces you spend time in either energize you or drain you. A cluttered, chaotic environment leads to a cluttered, chaotic mind. Organize your space in a way that inspires you, that reminds you of your goals, that aligns with the identity you are building. Surround yourself with symbols of progress, with visual reminders of what you are capable of, with triggers that activate your highest self every time you step into the room. The media you consume is part of your environment. The podcasts you listen to, the videos you watch, the books you read, the social media you scroll through, all of it is programming your mind whether you realize it or not. Feed your mind with content that uplifts, educates, empowers. Be intentional about what you allow in, because what you allow in becomes part of who you are. If you want to think bigger, act bolder, and live louder, you need to flood your environment with examples of that energy every day. Energy is contagious, confidence is contagious, excellence is contagious, so is fear, so is doubt, so is mediocrity. You have to decide what you're going to catch. You have to decide what kind of energy you're going to marinate in. Protect your energy like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if your environment pulls you back into smallness, you'll sabotage yourself without even realizing it. Create an environment that expects you to win, that expects you to show up as your best, that refuses to let you settle for anything less than the extraordinary.